I'm going to play this. I want to hear your opinion.
Okay.
Comprising of 3 acts, this episode of Mr. Bean first aired in 1990. Act 2 takes place in this fancy restaurant. When Mr. Bean unwittingly orders steak tartare, he desperately tries to hide his food to avoid upsetting the staff. The whole thing is genius, but there is one part I want to show you. This simple joke alludes to a previous unseen moment. In my head, in just a few seconds, an entire additional episode of Mr. Bean unfolded. This simple moment helped me realize that whatever we watch, the real movie is happening. Rather than thinking of film as a physical thing, I think it's more beneficial to think of the film playing out in the audience's mind. People don't watch a movie just to see something. They go to a movie to feel something. The emotions that the audience feels while watching a movie is the real movie. This means that different versions of every movie will be contained in the brains of each individual audience member. So the question arises, how can filmmakers help control what the audience feels? Well, first we can remove unnecessary clutter from the audience's mind. Everything in the frame gives insight to character and story. As a commercial filmmaker, when I'm making a quick 30-second TV spot, I know that every second counts. Everything in the frame can potentially bring the audience down an unnecessary rabbit hole. Removing things from the frame is usually what I find myself doing. Making the frame simpler to understand, taking away the clutter, is the first step to directing the audience's mind. I always ask myself, does this wardrobe aid in telling the story, or does it distract? Does this object aid in telling the story, or does it distract? Does this lighting aid in telling the story, or does it distract? It's one simple decision at a time, because every decision affects the final product.
Okay,
That's it?
that's all I've got.
Okay, perfect. That was a different route than I was expecting to, but I don't remember filming that sequence, but that was fun. The wide angle of that setup.
Right.
I'm just thinking about this.
The real movie's happening in the audience's mind.
Yeah. Wow.
So here's my problem. I don't know where to go next. I literally have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's hold on. Let's just talk through this for a moment here.
Okay.
So we had some things that we talked about potentially put in here. Those kind of
Right.
didn't make it.
Right. So I wanted to talk about Alan Rickman, who played Snape in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And how he was a big fan that his wardrobe had a bunch of buttons because he imagined his character in the morning buttoning up like 20 buttons, literally buttoned up. And even though the audience never sees him buttoning up his clothes, it's alluded to. It kind of gives you insight into his character. Anyway.
Yeah, so where is this going, right? Like, who is the... Yeah, it's interesting looking at this. It's fun. Mr. Bean is hilarious. I get the whole idea of the story. That's fun.
Okay.
It needs more. We need more in here, right?
I don't know what else.
Because I feel like we had a whole bunch of ideas when you started talking about this, right? Your whole great list of ideas.
I did have a bunch of ideas.
And they kind of seem to have didn't.
Okay. I'm having a hard time finishing this video because I've realized that this whole concept is pretentious and that anyone who thinks this way is going down a rabbit hole of pointless pontification for no reason, and that the creators of this Mr. Bean episode thought that hanger joke was funny, and I'm sure they didn't think as deeply about it as I am.
Right. Right. So, they said, hey, let's put a hanger in his jacket. That might be funny.
That might be funny. Like, why would I think that they thought anything beyond that? Why would I be so, like, no, I'm too heady
about the brilliance of Mr. Bean.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, like when we're on set, like we're just trying to make an image look good. We're not like thinking that far ahead. What I'm thinking is, does a real director even think that deeply about something?
Right.
I don't know. You know, there's all these like video essays on YouTube that go so deep about these things, and I'm always thinking like, yeah, I think they're thinking too deeply into this. Like, is there even something there? And so that's where I'm thinking, because I've got nothing left.
And I think about our audience. Like, does our audience love this stuff? Like, let's think about our past video essays.
Right. No, they have like not as many views as like,
Right.
okay, yeah, this is pie in the sky, just kind of like, oh, these thoughts about filmmaking. And it has no real benefit to like a real person doing a real project. If anything, content like this can scare somebody. And they're starting to double guess everything they're doing. It's like, okay, we're trying to make people think too deeply about the process. It's not that hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. What do you think? I don't know what to do with this one.
I have no more thoughts, and I say we just don't even release it, and it just crashes and burns, because this is garbage. Nobody needs this stuff.
Okay, is this, what could be put in here? I don't know, what can we put in here to make it like applicable? I have no idea. So there is definitely truths in here. There's some layers of truth. I'm trying to like push you, like, yeah, maybe you are doing good stuff, but I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
There is some fun truths there.
So okay, here's my problem. I went into this video thinking that I could like pull out a bunch more knowledge, and I could just like stumble across. I made this video thinking I could stumble across more knowledge and help people understand the subject more. But the more I got into it, the more confused I became.
Yeah, like when you get to the end of this and my mind draws a blank.
Yeah. What else could possibly be said?
I think it's maybe we release a 2-minute video. 2.5 minute video. Like, what do you do? Interesting. Okay, let's just take it to the beginning. Think about our audience real quickly. Who is the audience on Epic Light Media? Like, is there a lot of practical stuff? There is some practical use.
I think what this video is doing is it's feeding into kind of what people want, but they don't need this. People want this, but this is a waste of time.
Right.
For so many kinds of filmmakers. It's like, guys, we need to talk about the basics, but getting into this stuff about like, ooh, like, what is the audience feeling? For me, I just feel like it's pretentious. It's not necessary. And I think some of the best filmmakers are great because they don't go there. They're not thinking that deeply about something. Like, I'm assuming, like, right? So many times I've seen interviews of directors and they're not going into like too deep about things. They're just pretty reserved in terms of trying to get too deep about something. Like, why are you even
It's like musicians and the lyrics they write to the songs. Like everyone, they try to ascribe so much depth to what those lyrics are. Sometimes it's just a matter of it sounded good.
It sounded good. I don't know. It's sometimes the critics and the people that are analyzing stuff go too deep.
And you've seen these YouTube videos.
Yes.
Like this.
And I watched them.
That go way too deep.
And they've wasted my time. And yeah, when I finish it, I'm like, okay. And then the next time I try to do a project, I'm in my head too much.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking too deeply about everything, and it kind of causes gridlock. Creative gridlock.
Right.
Content like this gives me creative gridlock. And ironically, I have creative gridlock making content that's going to give other people creative gridlock. And now we're talking about it. And wasting our time. So far, I think this whole project has been a big time suck.
Yeah. And is it where can it be turned around? There's a few good points. A couple little great points.
I could make here's the thing. I could pull out more knowledge out of my butt.
Right.
And give it to people. Like, oh, look at all this stuff. Like, no, I don't believe any of this. I really don't.
Right.
You know us on set.
Right.
We're not thinking that deeply about stuff on set. Just do it, sure.
Right.
But there is a level of instinct and a level of experience. But these things can't exactly be put into words.
Right.
as soon as you try to put it into words, it's like trying to explain a joke.
As soon as you overthink things too much, you lose the purpose of doing it as well. I mean, it's like it's way too deep, and you just can't focus. You can't get past. There's too much. If you focus on every little thing, you would never get anything done.
Right. You never get anything
done. I like what I see. There's some great messaging in there. But beyond this, how do you make it interesting?
I don't know. I think this is just going to go into our long-term storage.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten around to it, go ahead and smash that unsubscribe button, and we will not see you again. Thank you.